thank you guys for tuning in to Heavenly Sent People You Should Know. I am your host, CEO Cynthia. I am also the CEO of the enrichment program called Heavenly Sent Youth that you guys often hear me talk about, where we expose kids to different things outside of their communities. A few of our ventures includes bowling, golf, tennis, equine. What else we do? We do archery. We've done my favorite, camping. And so you guys that's interested in what we're doing, get your kids involved. We're doing some amazing fun stuff. Like I just made mention, we got camping coming up. You guys just heard from Toys from Tots. We are partnering with them, so I'm so excited about that partnership. We're going to have a bunch of toys, and I'm also trying to get another organization that does bikes for kids, trying to get those people involved, as well as this big giveaway that we're having for maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas, whichever one, we'll figure it out. So, to get involved in what we got going on and keep updated with our stuff, you can find us on Heavenly Sent Youth on Facebook and Instagram. So, with that being said, we got an amazing show. This young man sitting next to me, we've worked side by side on a lot of different events, and I hope you guys enjoy what we're about to talk to. So, with that being said, we're going to get right into it. So, next to me is Mr. Sean Childs. Let me tell you a little bit about us. So we worked on a campaign together. Can I say a campaign? Sure I can.
Yeah.
We worked on the Willie Wilson campaign together, and that was pretty exciting. And when I first met Willie Wilson, it was just so cool. You know, I was with him, personal photographer, for about 5 years now, and just moving to all these cool places, and I got this little small camera, and I'm up there with WGN and all these big $10 million camera people, and they looking at me like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm with that guy right there. And so it has definitely led me in a bunch of doors, and I've been able to capture a bunch of resources from that. He's a friend of mine, and yeah, that's where I met Sean. So with that being said, I want to let Sean tell you guys who he is, what he got going on, and what he got coming up.
First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me on your great show. I watch it. You know, I've been following you for a while. Like you say, we started off, you know, I met you through Dr. Willie Wilson, and, you know, when I met you, you was a great person, gave me inspiration, because you were somebody that was more down to earth, you know, so I was able to laugh and giggle, not be so serious around Willie Wilson. But anyway, my name is Sean. I'm a community activist, born and raised from Cabrini Green. I'm now in Humboldt Park area, but my foundation is still in Cabrini Green area in Humboldt Park. It's called the House of Hope Anti-Violence Foundation. So I'm just a young man from Chicago, entrepreneur. I have my own clothing line called Faro Baro. So that's F-A-R-O-B-A-R-O, for all races only, before all runs out.
Wait, say it again.
Faro Baro. So that's F-A-R-O-B-A-R-O, for all races only, before all runs out.
I love it.
So for all races only. So people ask me, Sean, what made you create this clothing line? Basically, I created the clothing line because I tried to figure out a way to bring peace and love through material. I tried to figure out a way to unite us through clothing. I mean, we know that so much clothes out here, and material dictates people growth or their existence or who they are. If you got on Balenciaga, you gotta have money. You know, you see a woman with a Louis Vuitton purse, you automatically think she's somebody. When my ideology and the way I look at it is that's not true, because we know some women you might see with the Gucci or Louis Vuitton bag, they spent their life savings on it.
That's true.
Or they have saved up 3 checks to get it. And you might see a young man with the Balenciaga or the Miri pants on and think he really have it when that's not true.
Is those the pants with the purple tag on?
Yeah, them purple pants. They're like $300. A Miri like $1,200, $1,300.
Wow. Okay.
But the point I'm making is, no piece of material should be able to dictate who you are. So I said, I'm gonna come out with a clothing line that just covers everybody.
I love it.
A clothing line that's peaceful for everybody. That's how I started Faro Baro. And it's doing pretty good. My clothing line, you know, represent peace, love, and unity, whereas that a kid can put my clothes on and a person look at him and say, that's Faro Baro, we know he's peaceful, or we know he's not in a gang, things like that. A parent is not afraid to buy the kid Faro Baro clothes or sweaters or hats. A pastor could wear, a judge could wear. So that's what I created. It's this clothing line created for everybody. Everybody. And it's, you know, it's doing what it's doing. It's doing pretty good. It's not up here, down there. It's is right where I want it to be, you know. And also, my platform is No Kids Dying to Shy. So I started this a couple years ago, and the reason I started No Kids Dying to Shy is because, I'm just gonna be honest with you, I got tired of seeing so many innocent kids dying. I got tired of seeing so many our innocent babies dying and nobody care. Ain't nobody doing nothing about it. I'm not saying people ain't fighting, but the problem is most activists that we have in Chicago and most people that we have fight, they fight for the big thing. They fight for the thing that brings in the most money. So that'll say, let's keep guns off the street, and we're gonna try to get rid of gangs. Things that we know is almost impossible, but it's a big name, so it generates money. So if you can go, I'm not trying to preach, but I'm just giving y'all some game. You know, if you can start something and go to the government and say, I'm gonna try to get rid of gangs. They'll give you a boatload of money where they know it's never gonna happen. Chicago was built off gangs, drugs, money, and violence. We know that. So gangs never leave, drugs never leave, guns never leave, because it's a multi-billion-dollar institution.
Wow.
But when you start saying, give our innocent a chance to live, give our innocent boys, innocent girls a chance to live, it's not that popular. People really don't want to go through that because it's like, that's not headlines. That's not going to bring a big story. So once I saw didn't nobody want to fight for that, I decided to do it. So No Kids Dying to Shy was started to help out the pinkies of the world. Little girl got killed at McDonald's. And Means, the little 7-year-old who just got killed just the other day. You know, we went to his house and talked to his family, everything.
Wow.
So many innocent kids is dying in the city of Chicago, and nobody's doing nothing about it.
Is
but
that
they
the
say
little boy that got shot?
in the bathroom.
And where was that?
At Humboldt Park.
Wow.
So that was a Humboldt Park. He was 7 years old in his bathroom, washing up. They came straight, shot through the alley, and a bullet went through the bathroom and killed him. 7 years old. But you don't hear about it. Think about it. You might hear one story and it's over.
I seen it on social media.
You see it on social media, you might get one story and it's over, but when 7, 8 gangbangers have a drive-by or something, you're gonna see it on every channel. Why? Because it generates money. Innocent kids dying in Chicago doesn't generate money. That's why we're not in a state of emergency. We worry about so much stuff going on in Chicago, but you never hear about all these innocent babies dying. 12, 13 kids were shot just over last week. 4 died. The 15-year-old died. The 7-year-old died. The 12-year-old died. But I mean, why we not screaming, going crazy? I mean, what's going on here? So
What I'm gonna say about Sean is that I love his passion, and if he's interested or if he's passionate about or believe in what you're doing, he's gonna support you all the way to the finish line. And it brings me to the story. Same thing with Willie Wilson. I mean, Sean is probably the biggest advocate that I've ever met for Willie Wilson. I promise you, the biggest advocate, and everybody in our circle and in that space knows that. And so another person who I remember Sean used to always talk about, and that was, now his name is Polo G. And so back then we were having I think we did a fundraiser, if I'm not mistaken, for Willie Wilson, or a community meeting or whatever it was. And Sean had previously been telling me about Polo. I don't listen to rap, so I don't know any rappers. And so I remember him kept pressing about this young man. And so Shondell from Power 92 Radio is a good friend of mine. I invited Shondell to the Willie Wilson thing, and I told Sean, I was like, well, I'm going to have to see if I can get Shondell here, and you talk to him yourself. And they talked, and they had arranged an interview for Polo to come on, what's the name of the show?
Raw TV.
Raw TV.
But he still actually broke Polo's first song.
But did he show up?
He didn't do that.
He didn't show up because Shondell Khan was like, man, you told me.
I came, but he didn't show up.
Yeah, you told me that Sean, and he didn't even show up.
Yeah, that wasn't my
fault. And so, with that being said, Polo G is probably the number one?
He probably number one biggest rapper out in the world right now. Probably hands down. If you're not number one, tied for number 2 between him and Lil Baby. But he's the biggest. I would say he's the biggest international rapper out right now as far as new rappers. We're not talking to Jay-Z's now. We're talking about new rappers. Now, as far as probably one of the best lyrical rappers out, he's probably one of the best lyrical rappers out alive right now. Because his crossover is so far as he can do the drill, he can do the pop, he can cross over. So he's probably one of the biggest rappers out. And when he first came out, I was telling everybody this. I got an If in Music. I was telling her, and I was telling Shondell, and I was telling everybody. Y'all need to listen to this kid. People don't know this is my nephew. You know what I mean? I kept telling people, y'all need to listen to this kid. Y'all need to check him out. And everybody was like, oh, he good. He's good. And I said, okay. And I kept telling him, okay. And this when I was doing concerts with him, we was doing concerts in Joliet, just doing small shows. But I saw the crossover. See, it's easy when you do a show and you got 30, 40, 50 of your own people. But when you see other nationalities there screaming, it's something there. And look at him now. He's one of the biggest rappers in the world, So, I was glad that I was able to help push him out there. I was able to, help push him the same way I was able to help. I was able to help push Willie Wilson. A lot of people tell me right now they didn't know who Willie Wilson was before me, and I feel good about that. A lot of people like, yeah, we know he meant anything, but we didn't know who he was before you went crazy. Willie Wilson crazy. They called me Willie Wilson. I promise you, ask anybody, they called me Little Willie Wilson. I'm like, come on now.
Like I said, he was probably he was 10 toes down.
He deserved it. Willie Wilson's a great man. He deserved everything. He deserves everything he get. Like I tell him all the time, if you don't win mayor, you're gonna always be our mayor. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll say this: he gave me a chance at something I had no passion and no experience in. I picked up a camera because of Willie Wilson, and so I'm forever grateful for him giving me that opportunity. And my son told me to tell you he wants to meet Polo G, so you got to make that happen. I told him, he's like, "Well, who you having on your show?" I said, "Sean." He's like, "Ain't that Polo?" I said, "Yes, that's him." He said, "Tell him I want to meet him." So you got to make that happen for my kid. So with that being said, tell us about the House of Hope. What do you guys do? What do you got going on?
So basically, and just to piggyback off that, the House of Hope wouldn't be the House of Hope almost without Willie Wilson. So let me throw that out there too. Because when I was stuck in my bind and didn't nobody want to help Sean out, didn't nobody want to help pay my rent, I met Willie Wilson and he do what he always do. Wrote a check and said, pay your rent up for about 6-7 months, young brother. But he also told me, go buy you some shirts and flip the shirts to make money. See, Willie Wilson, yes. Willie Wilson is a mastermind. He told me, pay your rent up for 6 months, put me a couple TVs on the wall. But then he said, now, what you do with the rest of the money, buy you some shirts with House Hope on it and sell them and flip the money. And I was like, wow, that's why you are who you are. This is what he actually told me. So I love this man for that. My place is closed down now. Now I'm contracted to another place, that's even bigger, but my place is closed down right now. But the House Hope Foundation, it's a 501c3 anti-violence program that I started on my own. I actually started when I was in prison years ago, to be honest with you. I started when in prison years ago, but it took time for me to put it together. So what we do is we work with innocent kids. We work with kids out here that don't want to get shot or don't want to lose their life, kids that need help. We also work with kids that's battling the fence. So what I mean by that is, you got the young men out here that's in the game but not in the game. They got one foot in, one foot out. And those are the kids that I train and teach to show them that you can't play both sides. You can't have one foot in, one foot out, because that's either going to get you hurt, killed, or hurt. You have to if you're going to be in, you're going to be in. If you're going to be out, you'll be out. But I just try to teach them that this is something that you don't want to do. This is a life you don't want to live. So what we do is I mentor kids.
Wait, is this girls and boys or just boys?
It's boys and girls.
Awesome.
Boys, girls, any age.
Well, okay.
Boys, girls, any age, and I also mentor parents. So what I've been doing lately is I've been mentoring parents because I noticed that a lot of parents they're losing control of their kids. Two of my young men.
I need in.
Yeah, two of my young men yesterday basically ran away.
Oh.
Basically not ran away, but don't come in the house for a day or two. And the parents calling me because I'm 24 hours. What I do is 24 hours a day.
It.
So they calling me saying they can't find them. I'm out there searching, looking for them. They're back home now, but these are kids that's straddling the fence. Our job is to stop them before it get that far. Our job is to stop them from straddling the fence because once they get on that side of the fence, it's really no point way of coming back, and that's even death or jail. So what I do is I give them my life story. I show them what I've been through. I tell them what I've been through. I hold nothing back from my kids, and I give them what's called a cheat code. To me, it's a cheat code. I let them know what's going to happen to them before it happens. I let them know what's going to happen if they go this way. If you choose door A, this is going to happen. If you choose door B, this is going to happen. So that's what I do. Some kids listen, some don't, but the parents love me. So the parents bring them to me. I have so many kids now mentor that I can barely even do it all. I got a few people to help me out, but it's going pretty good.
Now, where are you doing this at?
Right now, I'm doing it out of River City Community Center. So River City is on 3709 West Grand. So that's 3709 West Grand. It's a big, great. God blessed me to be in this place. We have a basketball court. We got rooms. We got stage. We got professional equipment. We get everything for the kids. So they contract me through them to be able to mentor their kids.
I love it.
So what I do is I mentor River City kids every day, and I also mentor my kids.
And what time do you do that?
So every day it's get out of school at 3:15 from 3 to 6 every day.
I love it.
So I had to lead them day and rest to do your show. So it's every day, but I also do it on weekends. So it's on weekends. I just did a major Halloween party just Saturday. Over 150 kids showed up.
That was awesome.
150 kids. We had like 40, 50 pizzas. I let the parents drop the kids off. They was like, Sean, we can leave? Yeah, go on, leave. I ain't gonna lie, I was overwhelmed because too many kids started coming. But I did that. See, what I do is I try to do stuff mathematically. I try to think ahead of the crime. That's the only way you're gonna That's the only way you're going to combat this crime. You got to get in front of it. So I said, I need to do something before Halloween because we know on Halloween it might be kind of bad out there.
You're right.
Wearing masks is legal.
You're right.
So kids running around with masks on, what's going to happen?
You're right.
Some idiot going to put on a mask and try to, let's be honest.
You're
So
right.
I said, let me have a party on the 29th. And all free candy, free food, and everything. And look what happened. Over 150 kids came, parents came, and I guarantee you, a lot of those parents is not going to let their kids go out today. Because they're going to say, no, you already had a Halloween party. So it was just...
You got enough candy, right?
You got enough candy. Sean blessed us, so now you don't got to go on 31st, so now these kids going to be safe. So it's just ways you got to get in front of the crime. It's ways you got to beat them at their own game. And that's why I do the Peace March every month. That's why I also do a thing called No Kids Dying to Shy Peace March every month, where I go through the hardest neighborhoods, the hardest hoods, and I have bullhorns, and I have kids and grown-ups and everybody. And we scream, no kids dying to shy. No kids dying to shy. We scream, give them a chance, let them live. And I talk strictly to the shooters. I talk strictly to the brothers and sisters out there that's committing these crimes and hurting these kids. I let them know, not that I'm threatening them or I'm trying to be a cop, because I don't get in police business. What people need to understand is the people that's out there committing crimes is still our family. It's just they went down another road, but nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
Absolutely.
But I feel that if you talk to them and you speak to them and let them know, listen, these young men and brothers don't deserve to die. These young kids don't deserve to be caught in a drive-by, get shot in the car. And you got to talk to them. And I talk to them eye to eye. And they understand. They be shaking their head when I'm talking to them because they know I used to be a man of the street. And now I changed my life. So all I'm saying is, I'm not trying to get in your business and tell you what to do, how you do it. That's not my business. All I'm saying is, give that young boy a chance to live. Give that young girl a chance to live. That lady who just got off work, that elderly lady, she don't deserve to catch a bullet because of your fight. That man who just got off work, he don't deserve to catch a bullet because of your fight. Because your revenge is not their fight. And that's why I let them know, your revenge is not their fight. If we give up on them, what do we have? If we just give up on, because these are our neighborhoods, so we just give up on them and say, what do we have? It's going to be millions and millions of dollars getting dumped to these programs every day, and we see it's been happening every year. They dump millions and millions of dollars to these same programs that don't get no results. I mean, I have never got a grant. I mean, I ain't tripping because God is good. I know you never got one. But we ground roots doing our work.
Yep.
But God going to bless us.
Absolutely.
So God going to bless us. So, I mean, you know, it's a blessing for me to be here with you, so it's all good.
You just reminded me. So also, you guys seen a while back me posting my son when he was doing that bricklaying apprenticeship program. And then after that, he did the tuck point, or either two.
Right.
However, I said Sean's daughter was a part of that program, and so he would always post her. And one day I was like, "Hey, Sean, what's up with that program that your daughter?" And so Sean was able to connect me with the young lady, and I thank God for her. My son went in, he did an interview, he got the position. He learned it was bricklaying, I think 3 days a week, and then it was tuck pointing 3 days a week. And he probably still be doing. However, he also has a contract with the WNBA Sky. He's the halftime performer. So I explained to them that he couldn't do that anymore because the tumbling, the WNBA season has started.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I appreciate you, Sean, and so
it's still a trade. One thing is, tuck point is a trade. You got to understand that my daughter started doing this at 11 years old. So now she's a sophomore, still doing it. My other daughter, she's in college. She did it all the way up to going to college.
Wow.
So these kids are learned a trade.
And they get a stipend for it.
And they get paid for it. So you could be 12 years old, tuck pointing buildings up on scalpels, getting paid. So imagine when they graduate, if they decide not to go to college and they say they want to join a union of tuck pointers. The first thing the union going to say is, how much experience do you have?
Exactly.
They're going to say 8 years. And they're going to say, how do you have 8 years joining 18? Because I've been doing this since I was 12.
But you know what? It's funny because me and my son often talk about that, and so you have to know what type of kids you got. And so me and my son been talking about a trade since the beginning of time. Everybody kid not college ready, and so a lot of times we push these kids on and they create these this debt, and then they don't even go to school for what it is. And then now times have changed. The kids have sat out a whole year, so our kids was already behind. As in, you know, African American kids, we was already behind with the rest of the kids, and so now these kids have sat out. And then the sad part about it, that people didn't realize, that the kids that were in 7th grade, you know that their 7th grade scores is what takes them to high school.
Right.
So now these kids at home on a computer, and they're using these 7th grade computer e-learning scores to dictate how the kids gonna go to high school. Now, how fair is that? Not. So with that being said, so yeah, me and my son talk about that all the time, because even in the trade, you can still go to college. You do the trade for a bit, you get your stipend, whatever, and then if you want, they'll pay for you to go to school. So we've always talked about that. So when I seen you do that, and I was like, here we go. And then on top of that, the young lady was telling me, and actually I gave her some tickets to bring the kids to during the WNBA games. And so that was pretty cool. And so she was telling me that at a certain point in the program, the kids can borrow the tools and go and find their own jobs. And so
now, how crazy is that? They literally can be independent contractors. Whereas if they find a job, they would loan them the tools and say, go do your own job.
Exactly.
And keep the money.
Exactly.
Also, you got to think about it. These kids doing this at 12, 13, 14 years old. So imagine if they decide to go to college. And on their college application, they say, I did tuck point for 4 years. You know how that would look going to college?
Yep, you're right.
The college professor is saying, I noticed on your application you said you did construction at 12. It'll blow them away. And you did it for 4 years. That show what? They're dependable. They can work. They're on time.
Yep.
So it goes a long way. But the name of the program is Harambe. Anybody want to join or get involved, you can reach out to them. You can reach out to her. You can reach out to me. The program is all year round. Even in the winter, they do certain things. So it's all year round. They get paid for it.
So I
but
gotta
they
get
learn
my
a
son
trade.
back on. I gotta get him back in there.
It's all year round. Even if you go once a week, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Even if you go once a week, it's a great trade. I'm talking about, can you imagine a 13-year-old? Just imagine this. You come out your house and you get inside of your house tuck pointed and you see 8 15-year-olds on the side of your house with drills and cement. And you're like, what is going on? I'm talking, they doing it like professionals.
And so also, they got, and so the instructors are people that are in the union. So every job they go on, they have union workers with them, teaching them hands-on. And another thing with that is that I like the fact that my son made mention that they did a life skill in the beginning. And so, and it was so many different barriers to that because he also mentioned at the end that they all had to work together to clean up before they could leave. So they teaching them teamwork, it's team building. I mean, it's so many components in this. And it was just the coolest.
It's amazing.
So, what do you guys got coming up, Sean?
I got my next Peace March. It's going to be November 19th. So we're going to attack between Chicago Avenue. And when I say attack, exactly what I mean attack. Because between Chicago Avenue, Augusta, and Division is where mostly all the crime is going on. If you look at statistics now, the majority of the shootings is from Pulaski to Central Park, Chicago Avenue to Division. So I live in that area, and it's all crime ridden through that. So what I'm doing is we're just walking through all the blocks. We're going to start at Hamlin, and we're going to hit Chicago Avenue. We're going to hit every block, screaming what we do, bullhorn, signs, 200-300 kids with us, the news, and we just going to speak to our brothers on the block, let them know, give our babies a chance to live. So if y'all want to be a part of the march, y'all want to join the march, anything, just contact me. It's going to be November 19th. We start at 12. March might last about an hour and a half, but the march is emotional, it's strong, and trust me, it works. It gets the word out. A lot of people might not think, but I'm telling you, it works because if you got 30, 40 guys out on the block, even if they're thinking about doing something negative or whatever they're thinking about, I guarantee you at least one of them young men gonna say, man, that makes sense what they saying. They saying, no kids dying of shot. Then we scream and say, give them a chance, let them live. So the little brothers on the block, you know, what you call shooters or whatever, they saying, what is they saying? Give them a chance, let them live. You think that don't trigger something in a human mind? Then I have kids with signs, and the signs say, please let me see my 13-year-old birthday. The signs say, sir, would you please let me live? Sir, I'm only 11, I don't want to get shot. Sir, I'm only 10. Think about it. A lot of the shooters have kids. So it's just ways you gotta attack these situations. A lot of the people that y'all call shooters or they slide or whatever you wanna do it, they have a little daughter at home. They have a little son at home. So you gotta attack them from another angle. You gotta let them know the same way you're out there sliding, somebody can slide on you. The same way you're out there putting that work in, you make mistakes, shoot a little girl, little boy. Imagine your little daughter, your little son. And when you touch them in them type of ways, I'm telling you, it changes things. So our motto is, even if we save one, if we could change one of their minds, we did our job. I don't care if it's 1,000 of them. If we can get one of them to say, I'm not finna shoot in a crowd of kids, or I'm not finna shoot up a car, or I'm not finna kill an innocent kid or an innocent civilian, we cool with it. And that's our model. And I know it works, you know. It might not be the populist thing going on, but we gotta save our innocent kids. When I was growing up, there's nowhere in the world there's many innocent kids dying. Every day, every other day, an innocent kid is dying. And where's the outrage, you know? There's no outrage with it, and it's sad.
You know, and I almost forgot that you did some work with Mayweather.
Well, I worked with Mayweather about 6 years. So that came through one of my great friends named Nate Jones. Nate Jones was a '96 Olympian from Chicago. Nate Jones is the only boxer from Chicago that got a medal in the Olympics. Only boxer. Nobody else in heavyweight got a medal. So through Nate Jones, he took me to Vegas. I ran into Mayweather through him, and I did security. So I did security for Mayweather for about 6-7 years, lived a good life. I had an apartment in Vegas, and it was amazing. And, Mayweather treats you good.
So, with that being said, you guys heard the story. It's almost time for us to wind down. So, with that being said, as always, I want to thank my mother and my grandmother for being my support system. My other son, Deontay, for being, for just being an amazing role model for my son. I want to, of course, thank God, who's the head of my life, and Can TV for giving me this platform to be able to do this. You guys need more information about me or Sean, you can find us on Facebook. Until then, thank you guys for tuning in to Heavenly Sent People You Should Know. See you guys next time.
Thank you.